Hello and welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are introducing our brand new stamp set, Love Letters, and its coordinating dies. So let's go ahead and check it out. The first thing in this set are these two adorable little birds. Then we have an envelope there with a cute little heart, a cell phone, and then we have these great little text messages that can go in the cell phone. So we have a smiley face, so you can see it fits perfectly in that phone. We also have a heart, and you'll see that one fits perfect. I just love the two text messages going in both directions on the phone. We have a hi and then a heart that goes in the other direction too. Then we also have some smiley faces that you can add to the different objects in this set, like the envelope and the cell phone. And my favorite one is this cute little one with the glasses. Next up we have an inkwell and a little calligraphy pen, and then we have these great little splatters. So we have a splatter that's large and small, and then we have kind of the ink flowing out of the inkwell there, and also large and small. Next we have our cute little happy mail letter there, which is just so sweet, this big word bubble, and then this envelope with a letter coming out of it. And all of these phrases fit inside that word bubble or that envelope. So we have thank you, happy mail, I love you, happy day, and for this one what you can do is put the B there for happy B day, or you can put the heart there for happy heart day for Valentine's Day. We also have an open heart too. Next we have sentiments. We have a little message to say, and then we have I love you and also thanks. We have our happy Valentine's Day sentiment, and I just love that font, it's so pretty. And then we have sending, which you can put smiles or love underneath it. And then my favorite sentiment of this whole set, which is instead of texting, I made this card, and then because I love you in parentheses. Next, I'm going to be using my copic markers to color in these cute and fun images. So you'll see there, I like to put a little shadow towards the outside edge and then have him lightest towards the top. And I'm going to repeat the same thing with the other bird, and I just think it looks really cute, and I like the lightness around the top of his face. I'm going to be touching my markers together there to help me blend, because the markers are kind of far apart in color, and by touching the light marker to the darker marker, it creates kind of a medium shade and helps me blend those in. Now here I love using warm grays for letters and envelopes because it makes them look kind of a little bit dirty, like they've gone through the mail. And so I'm adding my shadow all along the edges of that envelope to really make it look three-dimensional, and you can see when I add the darker marker how cool it looks. Next up, I'll be coloring the cell phone in silver, but of course you could leave it white too, or whatever kind of phone color that you have. For silver, I really like using the toner grays. I really think it looks like metal. There you can see I've colored the calligraphy pen and the inkwell, and now I'm going to be working on this little happy mail envelope here, and I'm coloring it in pink for Valentine's Day. But one of the things that I love about this stamp set is it's great for Valentine's Day, but it's great for year-round too, depending on what sentiments you add to it, which is so awesome. So here I'm going to be working on that word bubble next, using those warm grays again to kind of create a three-dimensional word bubble. I think it's a really, really cool look. And then I'll be using those warm grays for the letter there too, just to give it a little bit of something so that it's not just plain white. Next up, I'm going to be working on the envelope, coloring it with the same colors that I did the Happy Mail envelope. And once again, I'm going to be adding shadow around the curves there of that envelope so that it looks three-dimensional, and you can really see how the layers of paper are layering on top of each other. I just think it's such a pretty and cool look. Now that I'm all done coloring, I'm going to go ahead and start working on the coordinating dies. So you can see here the dies, and what you can do is bend them apart at the tabs or use your wire snips to separate them. And then you can line them up right with your stamped image, and I like using post-it note tape, but any kind of low-tack tape would do to hold them in place. And I like to line up all of my dies and then run them through my die cut machine. Now in this set, the die there that cuts out that envelope also cuts out the Happy Mail envelope. So one die cuts out two different images, which is really great. So I'm just going to go ahead and line that one up now with the Happy Mail envelope, and I can cut that one out too. And then here you can see all of the adorable little images from the set. I love that they're all waiting to be customized with the sentiments of the set. So here you can see that cute little bird with the word bubble, and then here are the sentiments that can fit inside that word bubble. So I kind of like leaving the word bubble blank and then adding my sentiment later when I'm ready to make my card. And there you can see how cute the birds are with the envelope with the letter coming out, and those you can also add the sentiments to. Now those little die cut text bubbles fit perfectly in the phone. I just think that is just too funny. It's just so sweet. And now that I've got everything ready to go, it's time to start working on a card. I've die cut some Noble Fur cardstock here with a stitched rectangle, and I'm actually going to be making 2 cards at once. So you'll see here that I'm going to stamp instead of texting I made this card because I love you, on both sides of this stitched rectangle, and that way I'm going to have 2 little green hills for my birds to stand on in the different scenes. So this is a great way to get 2 cards done in one shot since you've got all your materials out. So on one of these, I'm going to use a simple stitch hillside border to cut it out. And then on the other one, I am actually just going to cut a straight grass hill, just for something a little bit different. Now I went ahead and stamped the word bubbles in some lobster ink and some plastic flamingo ink because I thought that'd be really cute for Valentine's Day. And I'm going to layer those onto the cell phone. You can see how cute they look stamped in colored ink. Now I've gone ahead and used our brand new fancy scalloped rectangle die there to cut some guava cardstock, and I'm going to layer a peacock stitch rectangle right on top. And then I can layer that grass piece that I just created. After that, I'm going to use some foam tape on my little bird and my cell phone, and I love how simple but cute this card is, and it would be really easy to make a ton of these. Now next up, I'm going to work on my next card, which has the same exact look to it, but a different theme because this time I've stamped thank you in that envelope. And so I love that the stamp set is great for Valentine's, but great for year-round too. And I think that thank you envelope is so sweet, and you could fill that with any of the sentiments of the set. I love those 2 little yellow birds on either side. I just think it's such a cute little color combo. Now I'm going to work on the card bases for this card, and I'm going to make the card bases the size of the stitched rectangle that's on top of the fancy scallop rectangle. So there it's going to be 4, and then I'm going to score at 2 3/4. I'll get both of my card bases done. I can fold those, and then you're going to see how I'm going to layer these on the back of the card because you don't want the white to show through that pretty little fancy scallop. So we're going to layer it right in the back, and now we still have that scalloped rectangle around, but now it's a card base, which I think is so cute. Now, to finish up my texting one there with the cell phone, I wanted to stamp my Happy Valentine's sentiment in the inside, and I think that's just so sweet. It's a cute little Valentine, and like I said, you could make a ton of these, which I love. So next up, I'm going to be recreating a card by Yainea that I absolutely fell in love with. So I asked her if I could do it for the video, and she said yes, so that's what I'm going to be working on next. Now here I have my stitched circles, and I'm just going to layer those 2 together and hold them in place with some low tack tape, and I'll layer that other side together too. I'll run it through my die cut machine, and by doing this, I'm actually going to create a little frame, and then I'll also have the interior circle that I'm going to work with later. Now once this one is done, I'm going to layer up 2 more circles to get my medium-sized circle and run that through my die cut machine also. Now to color the bases for these circle frames, I'm going to be using some inks with some ink blending tools. So first up, I am going to use some guava ink, and I'm just going to sponge that on to my circle there. And you can see I started with spun sugar, but it wasn't quite the right color, so I switched over to guava, and I'm going to start off of the circle and then move on, layering and building up the color until I think it looks great. And I want this to be really nice and soft and just be a background for my stamped images. So here I'm using some celery stick ink and doing the same thing. And then lastly, I'll use some mermaid ink and finish my medium circle here. So I'm just going to run that right on just like that. And you can see how pretty it looks as you build up the color. Now here, this is an older 6x6 pad called Sweater Weather that I just love, and it's got this great little notebook paper in it. So I'm going to take that out and just trim a little piece off, and that's going to go on the side of my card. It'll be the perfect backdrop for my Be My Valentine border there. That's a new die, and I just think it's so pretty. Now here I have the Let's Polka in the Meadow 6x6 pad, and I'm going to take that striped piece of pink paper there and just trim off a really thin little piece that's going to go on the outside edge of my notebook piece. So I can layer all of that together now, and I just love this look. It really goes along with the theme of the stamp set with the love letters and the idea of these birds writing love letters to each other. And then I put a little adhesive there on the back of my die cut, and I just love how delicate that is. It's so pretty. And then next I can add some adhesive to those circle frames I created earlier and then layer them on those ink blended pieces. And you can see how pretty that white border looks on that soft ink blended background. Now before I put these on my card, I want to do some stamping on them. So I'm going to take my little images and kind of just lay them in place where I think they're going to go eventually, and then stamp my cute little ink splattering out of the inkwell, and then I'm going to stamp the other splatters here around the letter, just like the bird was writing the letter and his pen splattered a little bit. And by stamping those first, then later I can add some foam adhesive to the images and they won't be in the way of my stamping. Now that I've added my cute little hearts, I can go ahead and put foam adhesive on the back of all of these images, and I really think that foam popped up image looks really great on these circles. And then lastly, I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of all these circles and add them to my card. And I am so in love with this layout. I think it's so fun because you can showcase a bunch of different images and kind of give them their own little scene on one card, which I think is just adorable. So I can't wait to use this layout again. And then here is the finished card. I love this like light green, light turquoise, light pink color combination for Valentine's Day. I think it's just so pretty, and I am just loving this love letter stamp set. And the reason I love it so much is it's so cute for Valentine's Day, but you can also use it all year round, which is awesome. And that instead of texting, I made this card. I think I'm going to put that on every single card I make. So I cannot wait to see what you guys create with this stamp set, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching and have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!